You will be forgotten faster than you realize. And that is actually one of life's greatest gifts. By the end of this conversation, you will understand why letting go of your own need to matter changes everything. We build our lives around being known. We connect our worth to applause, to memory, and to reputation. You feel a quiet pressure to leave a perfect mark, to be seen, to have your existence cataloged forever for others to admire or critique. This craving is what we call the need for permanence. It is exhausting. We spend so much energy trying to build monuments that will last. But if everything must crumble, where does all that effort take you? Your struggle is not to live. Your struggle is to prove that your life mattered. You are constantly performing a quiet act of self-validation. This constant effort builds tension into every moment. It makes the simple things feel heavy and conditional. If people never remember you, what does that mean about who you actually are? The first thing you must understand is that being forgotten does not erase you. It merely separates you from expectation. Think of a mountain range at dawn. When the sun rises, it illuminates every peak perfectly for just a moment. Then, as the light changes, the peaks sink into shadow. They are still there. Their shape did not change because they were briefly unseen. Your worth is inherent. It does not require an audience to validate its deep truth. We spend so much time trying to curate our story. We worry about the narrative others draw from your life. You might carefully choose what photos you post online. You might adjust how you speak in a meeting. This act of constant self-editing is exhausting. It pulls you away from simply existing. But that fear of being unknown often makes us lose sight of the simplest pleasures right in front of us. There was one thing this frantic effort misses: the quiet luxury of simply being. But the danger isn't just remembering things. It is how we hold on to those memories. We treat them like currency, paying interest on every past interaction. If someone forgets a kindness you showed years ago, you feel diminished. You feel that debt. This makes us anxious about casual connections. We fear being viewed as disposable. We believe our value comes from the depth of people's attention. If they stop giving it, we start believing we are losing ourselves. Imagine an old book left on a park bench. People walk by, read a page or two, and then move on. No one remembers that specific interaction later. But the story remains in the ink. It does not need repeat readings to prove its power. Your simple act of living is much like that book. The secret here is realizing that connection does not require permanence. Most moments are designed to be fleeting. They exist perfectly in the moment they happen. The joy of a shared laugh, the deep quiet of an evening walk, these things hold all their value right then. To try and bottle them up for later remembrance is impossible. And it takes away from the present. But what about the people who fail to remember us? Is forgetting always benign? Sometimes we feel that being forgotten means being dismissed. It suggests we were never important enough to keep in mind. This fear can build walls around your heart. There was a deeper pattern at work here. A deep misunderstanding of how memory actually functions for humans. We treat it like a filing cabinet, expecting specific files to always be stored correctly and accessible on demand. But the mind is not a storage unit. It is a filter. It organizes meaning. Consider the myth of the perfect memoir. People often write about their lives assuming that if they just arrange facts enough, people will instantly understand the deeper meaning. They believe memory is a linear record. But life resists linearity. The memories we hold are less like files and more like scents. You might smell rain on hot asphalt years later and suddenly recall an entire summer trip. The scent did not store the data, it triggered the feeling. We need to stop expecting people to archive your existence for you. This misunderstanding is a huge source of personal stress. We are trying to force depth into moments that were meant to be light. Our own inner critic often does this too. It takes a small moment of peace and demands a profound, lasting lesson from it. The quiet joy comes when you realize the most important memories are not about who remembers you. They are about what you felt while living them. The sheer act of noticing, of being present in your own life. This is where true freedom resides. To be enough right now without needing a witness. You only need to trust the fleeting moment, not the permanent record. When you let go of the need for eternal significance, something shifts. You become lighter. The weight of expectation lifts from your shoulders. It feels like finally taking off shoes that were too tight for years. The ultimate realization is this: your life gains its deepest meaning not when it is enshrined in stone or written in history books, but in the brief space between one breath and the next. In the quiet moments, you do not try to explain, justify, or remember. You are allowed to simply fade. And that fading is what allows your truest self to emerge. It is a gift of pure grace. A deep release. Do you feel the subtle lift? The soft weightlessness? Perhaps the greatest act of self-love is accepting impermanence. Letting go, not just of others' memories, but of the version of yourself that needs constant applause. You simply exist. And that is enough.